All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So, if you don't know, a long time ago, when the Ukraine war and Russian war was just starting, you had BlackRock already having investments in Ukraine and building projects in Ukraine, right? And we thought, okay, this is another proxy war where this is just going to end up turning into another elite city, right? For the elite. But we now have some news that with Ukraine that BlackRock is canceling their investments in Ukraine, and we're going to see why.
Breaking news, Russia has defeated BlackRock in Ukraine. Recently, the most corrupt company in the world, BlackRock, announced they are pulling out all business assets and no longer selling any land or assets in Ukraine. This is because they feel like this situation is becoming perilous for the Ukrainians, and the most rich, corrupt, and evil company in the world isn't even going to stay around to watch Ukraine fall. Now, BlackRock has been employing foreign mercenaries since the Ukrainian Civil War in 2015. These are soldiers from the US, Canada, and NATO defending BlackRock companies with their lives for a low paycheck. And last week, after Russia took over the billion-dollar BlackRock lithium mine in order to boost their military and destroy BlackRock, they have announced they're completely withdrawing out of Ukraine. Now, after the 2014 overthrow of the democratically elected government, which was sponsored by BlackRock in the United States, they have been implementing nearly $1 trillion in business assets to Ukraine. And now Russia has freed Ukraine of this evil corporation. Follow me for updates. Breaking news.
Alright, so as you can see, I believe he said that Russia took over the lithium mine, and now BlackRock has basically lost any hope or any plans of trying to invest in Ukraine to basically turn Ukraine into a BlackRock state, right? Now, we're going to get a scripture right here. It says, Psalms chapter 33, verse 10, the Lord foils the plans of the nations, he thwarts the purposes of the peoples, right? So BlackRock was planning and intending to take over Ukraine, right? And we all know a lot of these stuff is planned to a certain extent, but we know that Yahweh is in control, right? Slakia. For us, gal, scripture right here says Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I bring prosperity and create disaster. I, the Lord, do all these things, right? So even though BlackRock, or Vanguard or any other company along those names who basically own the stock market, even though they usually have been successful in buying up land and taking over elections and basically buying up the whole world, it's Yahweh who gives them the permission to. And in this case, since we're nearing the end of the days, the end of time, Yahweh is now creating a disaster for these elite Edomites, right? So those in BlackRock, their plans in Ukraine is pretty much over because Russia is destroying Ukraine and Ukraine is losing on every front. So BlackRock now has to leave Ukraine behind, right? Because they probably thought they were going to be able to beat Russia, and they probably didn't think this war was going to go on for this long. And if they did, they probably thought that they were going to keep advancing in terms of minerals, land, and technology. But in this case, BlackRock has lost. Right? So you have Esau Edom. Now that he's losing on a front like this financially, when it comes to BlackRock, what do you think is next, right? Esau Edom will then have to kick up his plans. He'll have to kick up his New World Order agenda, right? And go all out. right? And when he starts going all out, there will be sedition among men, right? Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings and princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? So eventually, America, with their plans not going the way they want, they're going to have to get draconian very, very, very fast. So this is why we have things like this is why we have things like Alligator Alcatraz, right? With all the which is basically a concentration camp, and they're planning to do whatever they want with the so-called immigrants over here, even though this land really belonged to Native Americans first. So the real immigrants is the so-called white man, but they were building concentration camps trying detaining the Northern Kingdom, or they plan to detain the Northern Kingdom, and of course this will trickle down, and they'll also detain the Southern Kingdom, and then this will trickle down because we don't know that even though it's Jacob's trouble, it's going to be trouble for the whole world. So they're going to be detaining people in concentration camps in general, right? So I just want to say, get ready, brethren. Uh, you know, and of course, nothing happened on July 4th. They didn't do their attack, so of course, another fake out. But that's Esau for you. And it's really in the plans of Yahweh. So Yahweh simply just, I guess, didn't want Esau to do anything on July 4th with the bipartisan plan. Remember, at the end of the day, Yahweh is the one who gives the go for these type of things to happen. So if this lesson is edifying, all praise to Yahweh Bahashem. Yahweh Shine Shalom.